afternoon, this is Brian. Today is a glorious May 2nd, Sunday afternoon, year 2021. I'm in the Elsinore Mountains, near Lake Elsinore, in Southern California, Riverside County. I want to present a spotlight video today. This will be at least my third spotlight video I've done today. So much is in bloom up here. So today's spotlight is on the Showy Penstemon. Penstemon spectabilis, variety spectabilis. So here we are, we're looking at a plant. It's more commonly known as also commonly known as a beard tongue because of the structure of the flowers. You see like looks like a mouth, and there's a little, I think it's the pistil or something sticking out. Well, it's not really fuzzy, but penstemons are also often called beard tongues. So this one is a pretty common member of our lower elevation disturbed areas, especially disturbed areas in chaparral. Like this area, which had burned, I guess, in the last several years. This area had burned. I'm not sure what year it was, but it must have been probably at least a few years ago. So we got this perennial subshrub in the Plantain Family, in the family Plantaginaceae, and it also this mountain range also includes relatives like Chaparral species. Chaparral antilopoides, Chaparral cordifolia, among the Chaparral species, Chaparral ternata in the Santa Ana/Elsinore Mountains. The Elsinore Mountains here are a sub-range portion of the greater Santa Ana Mountains here bordering Orange and Riverside counties. So here we go. Why is this called spectabilis? And why is it called showy? I shouldn't have to answer that question. I really don't have to answer that question by talking. The plant's overall appearance will do the talking for me. So it's an herbaceous subshrub. I don't know if it develops any woodiness at the base. It doesn't appear to. But sometimes they consider these subshrubs, or every once in a while they'll even consider it a shrub, but I think it's not woody enough to be considered a shrub. It's all semantics. It doesn't even matter. It's an absolutely fantastic plant. Spectacular flowering plants you will find here in the Santa Ana Mountains. Just look at this display. We're in full bloom in early May, and this plant is really putting on a show, even though we've just had one of our top 10 driest winters in recorded history, and yet this thing is putting out like never before. That's what these plants do. That's why that's why the species name is spectabilis, because it's quite spectacular to see. So spring brings these luscious blue and purple flowers. The outer tube of the corolla is purplish, and the lobes have more of a bluish hue. So it's a multicolored flower. It's mind-bogglingly beautiful. And we're going to follow a population of it here. And you'll find it commonly mixed with chaparral shrubs like Malosma laurina, the laurel sumac, and other disturbed site chaparral edge plants like Salvia mellifera, the black sage. And also, being that this is a burned/disturbed site, you can also expect to find Arundorferia chrysantha, golden eardrops, and many other species like popcorn flowers and cryptanthus. So this plant is common at the lower to maybe middle elevations. I don't know if it ranges up to 6,000 feet, but you can find this quite common in the Santa Ana Mountains and lower elevations of our other mountains here in Southern California. And it puts on quite a show. And then later on in the year, after the flowers have faded away, the seeds will develop in these little chambered capsules. Let's see if I can get to some old seed capsules, and here I am. Here we go. You get these old look like four-chambered or four-lobed capsules that have little tiny dark-colored seeds inside of them. And I believe you probably would want to use fire scarification, but I have germinated a species of penstemon, Penstemon centranthifolius, scarlet bugler. I've germinated that without fire scarification, so I'm not sure if that's an absolute requirement, and I'd be tempted to try this with or without fire scarification. But these tend to come up in fire damaged areas. I shouldn't say fire damaged, I should say fire reshaped, because this is one of the plants in the early succession of the regrowth. You can see a lot of burnt shrubs that are recovering. Eventually they're going to regrow back to their old size, unless another fire comes relatively soon. So this area will become all chaparral again, and eventually these plants will diminish in population size to only the most disturbed areas. But these plants are some of the most spectacular flowering plants I have ever had the pleasure of encountering here in the Santa Anas. And we do have good species of penstemon. We've got Penstemon grinelii, subspecies grinelii, higher up near Santiago Majestica. That's more of a mid-elevation penstemon, and I have yet to spotlight that one. That's more of a summer flower. I'd have to go higher up for that. Then we got Penstemon heterophyllus, subspecies heterophyllus, and then Penstemon heterophyllus, subspecies australis, which is foothill penstemon with really narrow leaves. Grinal penstemon's leaves are kind of similar to this, rough-edged, but then the foothill penstemons are really narrow-leaved. And of course we got plants in the genus Kekiella, like Kekiella antirrhinoides, Kekiella ternata, and Kekiella cordifolia, which are relatives of the penstemons, also in Plantaginaceae. Kind of got tongue twisted there. They have very similar flowers and are relatively closely related. So there you have it. Showy beard tongue, or showy penstemon. This is a genus of plants I'm planning on spotlighting more this year, as I'm also broadening into shrubs and broadening out my scope into shrubs and herbaceous plants, as I'm learning and becoming more comfortable identifying herbaceous plants. So be on the lookout for more spotlight on plants videos, in addition to the usual spotlight on shrubs and trees videos. So there you have it. Penstemon spectabilis, variety spectabilis, showy penstemon, beautiful member of our Plantaginaceae. And one more thing of note, one thing I gotta note is the opposite arrangement of the leaves. The leaves are opposite, and they clasp around the stem, so they kind of clasp around each other. So you can see here the leaves kind of ring around the stem. So that's another thing about these plants. Oppositely arranged leaves, and the leaves actually ring the stem. So there you have it. Penstemon spectabilis, variety spectabilis. This was an episode of Spotlight on California native plants, the herbaceous edition. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found it useful in helping identify our flora here in Southern California. Thanks for watching, and be on the lookout for the next episode.